So I'm hoping this is going to be our last video for this vehicle purchasing project. Today we're going to address how to estimate the cost for oil changes, gas, and tires. We have really great directions in the document that I've shared with you in Google Classroom, so please take some time to read that. We're going to start off with oil changes. So typically we drive about 13,500 miles. That's the average for American drivers each year. And you need to change your oil roughly every 5,000 miles. And so that basically means that we're going to be needing to change our oil 2 or 3 times, maybe 4 if you drive more, 2 if you drive less, every single year. So we're just going to kind of hit the middle ground with that and say that we're going to have an oil change done roughly 3 times a year. So your guys' task is to talk to someone in your family, and if that's not a healthy choice, then send them an email or a text or FaceTime or whatever it is you need to do, and ask them how much does it typically cost to have an oil change done on their vehicle. Now, if you're someone that has the ability to change your oil yourself, okay, then you don't have to pay for labor, but you do need to consider the cost of materials. And you can find that information. You could go to Walmart's website and check out the cost of oil and materials. You could go to Amazon, you can estimate that, or you can talk to someone else that does change their own oil. I'm going to come up with probably a ridiculously large amount because I want you to ask somebody else. So I'm telling you, don't use my number because it's wrong. But I'm going to pretend that an oil change costs $120 every single time. I think that feels a little bit high, but I don't know. You do your research. So we're going to pay that 3 times a year. That is a total of $360 for 1 year. But we're not budgeting for 1 year. We're budgeting for each month. So we're going to take that $360 and divide by 12, because 360 out of the year, divide that by 12 months in the year, we are looking at budgeting $30 per year for oil changes. Remember, you want to write this down because you're going to be needing to total all of this information in the very last step, which is step 8. Right now we're pretty much working on step 7. So the next one is gas or fuel. I'm just going to do some rough estimates, and I'm actually going to think about my own vehicle. With my car, it typically gets about 28 miles to the gallon. That's pretty standard. If you're like, how do I know that? It has a little thingy on the dashboard that tells me that, and I look at it all the time. So again, we're going to use the average of 13,500 miles driven per year for most Americans. And we need to figure out how much money we're going to spend on gas. Now, right now, gas prices are pretty cheap because people really aren't traveling that much at this time. And in the time that I'm recording this video, it's a little bit earlier than when you're actually seeing it. And I suspect that oil prices are going to go up, so gas prices might go up. You guys know, every 20 minutes it seems like the gas prices change, so just roll with it. So we need to think about how our average fuel economy is working for our vehicles, like our miles per gallon. So the very first step that we're going to do is we're going to take our 13,500 miles that we typically drive, and we are going to divide that by the miles per gallon that our cars get. So I'm going to divide that by the 28 miles per gallon. Oh, come on, document camera, focus, stay. And that's going to actually help me figure out the number of gallons of gas I'm going to need to buy. So clear my calculator, 13,500 divided by 28. I'm going to kind of round this off. I'm going to call it 482 gallons of gas in a year that I'm going to need to purchase per year. So I'm going to hopefully get this thing to stay focused. Stay put, autofocus lock. Well, that's not better. Autofocus, this thing hates me. Alright, it's just going to wiggle. Sorry guys. So that's the number of gallons per year that we're going to be roughly purchasing. I'm just going to go with $2 a gallon. I know that that's not always realistic. Before all of this craziness happened, we were looking at over $3 a gallon. Okay, it is what it is. So we need to, let's see, multiply our answer by $2 per gallon. So I'm going to double that. We have $964 per year that we are spending on gas. That's with the assumption my car gets 28 miles per gallon all of the time. The assumption that gas will stay constant for the year, yeah, I know, not going to happen, at $2 per gallon. We then need to divide that by 12 months, and we need to budget roughly $80 per month for gas. Now think about the vehicle that you currently drive. I personally do not budget $80 a month in gas because that's not my typical driving pattern. All right, now I'm not budgeting hardly anything because I can't really go anywhere. But in a normal world, I would probably budget more like $60 per month. I probably fill up my tank twice a month because my commute from home to work isn't that much. Now my commute from home to work is literally 15 feet because I'm working in my dining room. You guys recognize that this dollar amount is going to change because of the vehicle you drive and the cost of gas. So let's take a look at tires. You can change your tires at different points. In my personal experience and doing some research online and knowing when I've had to replace tires on my vehicles, I know that tires, brand new ones, typically come with warranties, and I've bought the ones that have an 80,000 mile warranty, and I don't think I've ever gotten 80,000 miles of usage on my tires. It just hasn't happened. So I'm going to go with 60,000 miles as an estimate for how often you need to replace your tires. So what that means is if we drive 13,500 miles per year, then you're probably going to need tires every 4 or 5 years. I'm going to underestimate that so that way we have more money in our budget, and I'm going to predict that we need to purchase tires every 4 years. That's probably a little bit soon, but just go with it. So you have the task of researching the cost for new tires for your car. There are lots of websites that you guys can go to. Just Google it and look and see using the make, the model, the age, the style of your vehicle that you chose, and roughly estimate how much it's going to cost. You can pick the best of the tires, you can pick the cheapest of the tires. Make a selection and go with it. Remember that you need to be looking at the cost of 4 tires, not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4. I know that there are different situations where you can purchase just 2 at a time. We're going with 4. And then I also recognize that there are additional mounting and balancing fees, and if you need an alignment, we're just going to talk about the cost of the tires. So I'm going to go a little bit on the high end. I am going to estimate that my tires will cost $1,200 for 4, and that will be total cost. Well, I don't need to purchase those every single month, thank goodness, or every single year. I need to purchase those every 4 years. So what we're going to do is we're going to divide the $1,200 by 4, and that will give us, hey, kind of a nice little number of $300 per year that we are budgeting. But remember, we're not budgeting per year. We are now going to take that $300 and divide by 12 months because we want to figure out our budget per month. That is a nice, beautiful $25 per month. And if you're like, are you sure? Watch. $25 in 12 months is $300 times 4 years. That'll be the $1,200 that we need to have set aside. Now we'll keep budgeting that because we might not need to replace our tires at exactly 4 years. We might be able to stretch it to 4.5, maybe 5 years. But that just means that we're adding more money into that budget, and that money will be there because we're not spending it on anything else. It is a line item marked for replacement of tires. But hey, that's a way that you can walk through to determine how much money it's going to take for you to budget for your oil changes, for your gas, and for your tires. And I'm wondering, I have per year, I should have had over here per month $30 for the oil changes. You might be hearing my dog barking in the background. Somebody's walking past our fence. She says hello quite loudly. Hope you guys are doing well. I hope this has been an interesting project for you and relatively realistic. You are almost done. The last task that you have is to total your expenses. Hopefully you've been keeping track of everything because I've been asking you to. Take good care of yourselves. Bye, guys.